Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Meet Praneeth. In today's video, we are going to discuss the complete process of how to prepare an EB-1 application. So now let's get started and do watch the video till the very end. So I see the whole process of preparing an EB-1 application as a set of 5 steps. Now let's go through these steps one by one. The very first step is understanding the criteria that uscis has set forth. And in the previous videos, I'll put the links in the description. You can go through the videos to make sure that you understand what are the criteria that uscis has set, and with examples. And you can also go to the uscis website to understand the criteria in more depth. Now, the next step is to make a list of the criteria that you qualify for. And do also make a list of the criteria you do not qualify for. Why? Because it could be that in future you might be able to qualify for some of the criteria that you're not able to qualify right now. Now the third step would be, once you have sorted out the criteria that you qualify for and a list of criteria that you think you will not be able to qualify for, it's a time to go to the attorney. If you want to file the application through an attorney, this would be the time where you can contact them and tell them what is your case and exactly what are the criteria you want to target and what are the evidences you will have. And I'll also talk about the evidences later in this video. Now, once you approach the attorney, you'll have it. If you already have everything sorted out, it will be easy for them to evaluate that, and also along with your CV to make a decision that whether they want to go ahead and work with you in filing EB-1. You can also file EB-1 on your own, so it's up to you if you want to go through that route. Now, finally, the fourth thing is understanding what evidences we would use to support each of these criteria. And there are multiple examples I will go through. But before that, let's also cover step 5, which would be getting all the additional documents. Now, additional documents would be for the first part, which is I-140. And in today's video, we are only covering the I-140 part. So some of the supporting evidences that you would need would be your passport, your visa stamps, and your I-94. And all the other criteria or the examples that we will discuss would be your main supporting evidences that will go in your I-140 legal draft. And for the next part, which is I-485, we will discuss that or cover that in the next video. So I will now go through 10 examples where generally these are the criteria that people use to qualify, or for example, let's say I qualified for, and what are the evidences I provided to support those criteria. So the very first one that people generally use is they have research papers or conference papers. For that, you should start compiling a list of all the papers you have published, and those should be the full-length PDF articles. And they should also, if possible, highlight the name where exactly you stand as an author on that list for each of these papers. Similarly would be the case for the conference papers. So you should have a compiled list of all the papers and as well as the full-length copy, the PDF copies of these papers. The second is, once you know which are the papers and the conference papers you're going to target, you can also go and check Altmetric and Plumix. I'll put the link in the description, so you can go and check out these websites. What these websites do is they track these research papers or journal papers, and they provide you some demographic information of where exactly your paper was read, how many times it was downloaded or accessed, which countries your paper is mostly read in, and how many times it's been cited. And those information, and also sometimes they also provide you information about clinical citations your work has got, or let's say some news coverage your work has got. And all those information, all the information that these websites provide, Altmetric and Plumix, could be very useful in providing as a supporting evidence. The third one is media coverage. Now, let's say you have published some work which got a lot of media attention, or let's say you have done something about, and there's a lot of media coverage talking about you and the work that you have done. Now it's a good time to start collecting those evidences in digital format, or let's say at least the links that you have. It could be YouTube videos, it could be vlogs, it could be news articles, and start compiling a list of all of them and also reference them so that it's easy for you to put it in the final list or final box that you will create for the evidence. So the fourth one is membership. So let's say you are a member of IEEE, ISCB, or some other organization, and if it's not a paid membership, then you can qualify for that evidence. Now, how you can qualify that, how you can present that evidence is you can contact the organization and tell them that can you please give us a letter stating that you are a member of this organization and it's not a paid membership, and how exactly you became a member. And that could be, let's say, they evaluated your profile, your academic profile, your work, and then they decided to give you a membership. If you can get that letter, then that could be a good way to support this criteria. The other way you can do this, you can also go to the, let's say, the database of this organization, and you can highlight your name and your membership in that database. But generally, USCIS would require a little bit more evidence to clearly show that you were basically selected for a membership without any payment, and also it was all thoroughly based on your profile. The fifth one is peer review. Now, let's say you have peer reviewed for multiple journals, and whenever you peer review, you can contact the editor, or let's say if you have not contacted them, you can now contact those editors and state that which paper you peer reviewed for, and can they give a letter, an acknowledgement letter stating which paper you peer reviewed and why they chose you for the peer review. Sometimes editors might not write that letter because they do not have time, so then you can just get a thank you email for them and put that as an evidence to support this criteria. The sixth is recommendation letters. Now, recommendation letters can be very important because those letters would be coming from people who have not known you personally and have not worked with you, but they might have cited your work or used your work in some of their own work. Now, the first question that comes is how to find those people, right? So let's say in my field, what I did is I went through my papers and started to see what papers have cited my work. And then I started compiling a list of all the authors that I thought I can reach out to and request for a recommendation letter. That's one way to go for. And you can select first author, second authors, or you can select the corresponding authors. There's no rule that it should be only corresponding authors. It depends, I think, whom you can reach easily and contact and ask for a recommendation letter. The other way is, let's say you're working for a company and you have some product development and there are a lot of clients using that product. You can ask those clients to provide a letter of support showing that, well, the product that they're using is very useful and how your work was very pivotal in making that product. So that could be another way of approaching this. And the other thing that I would like to mention is sometimes what happens is the attorneys might have a different take on this, so it's very important to also talk to them and see what they suggest, because it will be the attorneys who will be preparing your legal draft. So if they understand your case and they know what evidence to put, that would be much easier task for you. But my whole idea here is to provide an idea of what kind of evidences you can provide to support the criteria. So the seventh is awards. Now, let's say if you have got any national or international award, you can provide a copy of that or maybe a receipt of that, and that should be accepted by USCIS. The eighth is a critical position. So let's say you're in a critical position or a critical role and your decisions are very important for the company's overall working, or let's say profits or gains or whatever the core is. Now, how to approach this would be, you can get a letter from the head of the company stating that what position you are in and how your role is very critical for company's growth or let's say profits and whatnot. And again, contact an attorney to make sure that could work. But I think this kind of letter stating or signed by multiple people in the board of the company or the head of the company could be an important evidence. Now, the ninth is high salary. A lot of people try that criteria, but I think it's very difficult to prove. However, what you can do is, let's say you command a very high salary and you want to use that as an evidence. Now, one thing would be you should find out the data about all the people who work in a very similar position like you and say that whether your salary is way higher than your peers. Now, sometimes it might be very difficult to get that data. So what people do is they go to different websites like Glassdoor, Smart Asset. There might be more websites out there which I'm not aware of. You can definitely try and see if you can find the median salary or let's say some salary information about the jobs which are very similar to yours, and then that could be used. But I'm not very sure if that would work as an evidence in front of USCIS. finally, the 10th is, let's say if you're targeting EB-1B, an offer letter stating that you have a permanent position in the company, and the company has already at least 3 researchers working for them would be very important. So an offer letter in case of EB-1B would be a very important evidence to showcase that you have a permanent position that you are offered or you are currently working for. I hope you found today's video very useful and you got an idea of how to prepare an EB-1 application or how to approach the whole process. If you have any questions, please do not hesitate to reach me on LinkedIn, or you can leave in the comments and I would be very happy to answer them. Let me know if you have recently qualified for EB-1 or if you're planning to file one, and if you have any questions, I'll be very happy to answer. And if you want to come on the channel and share your story with all the different people who are planning, or let's say at least want to try EB-1, that would be really very helpful. So I will be eagerly waiting for all your responses, and if you're liking the content, please like, share and subscribe. So yeah, that would be really very motivational for the whole channel and its growth. And I think have a wonderful weekend, enjoy your weekend, and I will see you in the next video very soon. And do let me know if you want to also understand how to start approaching the career summary or research summary, which will be the very first document that you will be using to provide to the attorney to understand your case. If you want to learn about that, do let me know in the comments. I'll be very happy to make a detailed video about how I approached my career summary and how I wrote it. So once again, if you're liking the content, please like, share and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video very soon.